Hey everybody, this is Dallas Johnson. This is my very first webinar, so as you can see, my background's not perfect here, but I want to talk to you about how to get a dealer's license and we're this is going to be starting July 2021, and I want you to be aware of something here. You know, I give training classes all over the United States, and there are some persons that think this is not the best time to start a dealership. And there are no vehicles. There's no vehicles anywhere right now. But that's the way I look at it. This is the absolute best time to start a dealership. And so what's happening right now? I'm sure you're aware of this huge chip shortage, and there are tens of thousands of vehicles, brand new vehicles that are sitting on airport runways and things like that with absolutely no chips. And so the manufacturers are waiting for these chips to come in so they can start putting the chips in those vehicles and shipping to the dealerships all over the United States. So what's happening here, I know you've seen this on every franchise lot, whether it's Toyota, Honda, Chevy, Ford, Chrysler, Ram, all of their lots are empty. They have no vehicles. In fact, their used inventory is down as well. So what I predict is going to happen here very soon, very, very soon, is we are going to see a multitude of vehicles that are going to get shipped to lots. You're going to see these lots are going to be overflowing with brand new vehicles. And you know, this is a trickle-down effect. So I'm assuming that you're interested in getting a used motor vehicle dealer license. So what we're going to see here, I predict very soon, is all the franchisors are going to have a humongous overflow of vehicles, and they're going to end up marking those down. But another thing we're going to see here is you're going to see the manufacturers are going to be running some really, really aggressive sales here. I predict here in the next 2 to 3 months, we're going to see this huge turnaround in our industry. So you know, another thing, and if you talk to any used dealer, it's hard to get vehicles at dealer auctions. That's why you hear all these franchises and used motor vehicle dealerships advertising that we'll buy your vehicle. We'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade in with us. We want your vehicle. So what's happening here, there's several things that are leading to that as well. There's a huge shortage of vehicles at dealer auctions right now. You know, just one scenario that leads to this is the person that's leasing a vehicle. You know, normally when vehicles come off lease, they will go through the dealer auction lanes. But right now, there are people that are leasing vehicles and they're extending those leases because there are no vehicles to replace their lease. And they are literally writing 6-month additions to their leasing contracts and things like that. So that we're seeing the lease returns are not coming through the lease return lanes. Okay. Now, something else that we're seeing right now is the rental car companies. Usually, you know, the major rental car companies, once they've had a vehicle for 2 years, they will literally take it back to the dealer auction, and then they'll go out and buy brand new vehicles to replace their rental inventory in their fleet. Well, they're not doing that right now because there are no new vehicles available. So the rental car agencies are hanging on to those vehicles. Normally, they keep them for a year or two until they get around 30 or so thousand miles or 40,000 miles or so. But usually about 2 years is the norm. Well, the rental car agencies are pretty smart, and they know there's no vehicles coming through. There's no new vehicles to be had. So there's another stop in inventory that we're actually seeing at motor vehicle dealer auctions. So, you know, the lease returns aren't coming through. The rental returns aren't coming through. But I predict that's going to change here very, very soon. So here within, hopefully, from what I've been reading on the different automotive websites, hopefully in the next couple of months, those chips are going to start hitting those brand new vehicles and all these tens of thousands of brand new vehicles that are being stored all over the country. I've saw, like I said, they're in airport runways that aren't being used. I saw a picture. It looked like 10,000 cars on this airport runway. And if you have an area now that can store a multitude of vehicles, you've probably been approached by franchise representatives to store vehicles. So as soon as those chips hit those vehicles, and they are getting them caught up in that supply chain returns, we're going to see a massive influx. So all these brand new vehicles are going to hit these lanes. You know, the lease returns are going to come back to the dealer auctions. The rental companies are going to be sending those vehicles back to the dealer auctions. So we're getting ready to see, I predict, this huge explosion in our industry. There's definitely a slowdown right now. Dealers cannot get inventory. I've been in this business many, many years, and I've never seen anything like this. What's going on? I've been training dealers across the United States for 16 years in a classroom environment. I've been doing the online training. But what I'm trying to get at here, this is the best time that you can possibly get a dealer's license, because very soon we're going to see a multitude of vehicles coming into the dealer franchisees. But what happens here, and I've found this out several times over the years, you're going to see these Ford dealerships, Chevy dealerships, Toyota, Honda, they're all going to be running massive advertising campaigns to let customers know that they actually have vehicles back on the lot and that they're open for business again. And what happens here in our used motor vehicle dealer industry, you're going to see a trickle-down effect, and it's been proven. So whenever you see all these ads, like for the brand new Fords, brand new Chevys and things like that, then the used motor vehicle dealers see a huge influx in traffic. Plus, we're now going to be able to go to the dealer auctions. We're going to be able to buy those rental returns. We're going to be able to buy those lease returns. Folks are going to be trading in their vehicles on brand new vehicles. So there's a huge increase in used motor vehicle inventory that's going to be coming through the dealer auctions. So now is a great time to get your dealer's license. And, with that being said, 2021, I believe, is really one of the best times. And there's many reasons for this as well, because we have customers that are flushed with cash. We have customers that have been saving up for that newer vehicle. We have customers that have gotten all these stimulus payments here from the federal government here in the last couple of years. We also have, starting in July, the child tax credit that's coming out. So most persons in the United States are going to get $300 a month for every child they have. So if a family's got 3 kids, well, then they're going to actually have they'll possibly have $900 a month coming in. So this is a great time to start your dealership, and that's where I want to be able to help you here. So with that being said, we do offer a training course that'll help you out. As you can see, we've got quite a few subscribers here on the channel, and this is actually my first live webinar, my first live time here. So as you can see, the background didn't turn out like I was planning it on. I might have to work on that again. But hey, with that being said, I want you to go to our website, if you would. It's dealertraining.org. Dealertraining.org is an excellent place for you to download our training course. We have a dealer profit and compliance course. And in our course, what you can do is you're going to be able to find out how to become a licensed motor vehicle dealer. We'll go step by step and explain what a dealer surety bond is, what dealer insurance is, and things like that. We're going to go into the profitable dealer aftermarket products that you can offer your customers, whether that's an extended warranty or delivery fees, things like that. There's a lot of other profit products besides the actual markup itself. We've got a whole section that's going to prepare you for dealer auction. So you definitely need to be able to know how to buy correctly in a dealer auction. And I'll let you know right now, the first couple of dealer auctions I got into, I didn't know what I was doing at all. And, I was jumping up and down like a kid in a candy store. And I'd see a vehicle and think, hey, this car's going to sell for, $2,000. My gosh, somebody will give me $4,000 or $5,000. I'd buy it for $2,000 and realize the dealer across the street couldn't sell 10 of them for $1,000 a piece. So you have to, so we talk about wholesale pricing research. Very important that you know how to do research wholesale pricing. We're going to talk about, how to do wholesale pricing research. And also, I always recommend go to 2 or 3 auctions and then start making your buys because when you raise that hand up or press that enter button on your computer, maybe you're doing it online, you're creating a contract with that auction. So we definitely want to be aware of that. I also want to make sure that you do aware that you're aware that auctions have dramatically changed here recently. And, it used to be you had to be physically there. Well, now you can use your dealer's license and easily log on to a dealer auction in another part of the country. And what you're going to see, these trends in this incredible industry, you could have, say, for example, 4-wheel drives might be going really cheap at the Dallas-Fort Worth dealer auctions, but they're going really high in a snowy area up in Denver. And I will literally watch dealers buy a multitude of 4-wheel drives in the southern states and ship them up to the northern states for next week's auction. So that's something we can look at here. And we got an extensive section on dealer auctions in that dealer training course. Dealer ethics and license suspension. One of the most important components of this business is, operating your business with a very high level of ethical standards. Okay, so you definitely want to be able to do this, and ethics are a very important component of this new industry. So I definitely want you to be aware of that. And with that being said, as well, studies have also shown when you're giving full disclosure to your customers, you just want to make sure that you're shooting them straight. When I was selling a vehicle, I look at the customer, I say, hey, listen, this car's pulling to the left a little bit. Here's a little bit of noise in the rear end, and come on back here. There's a little dent behind the back left fender. You shoot every single customer straight, and you're going to see some really magical things happen with this new business. You're going to see repeat business. You're going to see referrals. You're going to see great online reviews, and most customers have checked you out before they come onto your lot. So I want you to be aware of this as well. Because think about it. Let's just say, for example, your dealership is in, I don't know, Phoenix, Arizona. Well, somebody that's looking for vehicles in Phoenix, oftentimes they'll say, hey, they'll go to Google, type in Phoenix dealers or South Phoenix dealers or something like that, and they'll see your reviews. So ethics and integrity are a very, very important component of this business that you're getting ready to start. So it's very important there. Got a whole section on that at dealertraining.org. I'm going to talk about your dealer records. Okay. So you have to when you have a dealer's license, you have to have dealer records. So no matter what state you're getting your dealer's license in, you're going to have records. So you have to have a copy machine or a scanner. If you have some document, that relates to the operation of your dealership, you want to make sure that you never throw it away. You want to make sure and keep a record of it. Now, federal law requires all copies of documents for a minimum of 5 years. Your state may only require 3 years or so, but we're going to delve into records. It's always best to keep your records longer than they are actually required. So in your dealer training course, we'll talk about that as well. And once again, you can start there at dealertraining.org. We've got a whole system of changes that are coming up here pretty soon. So we're going to be talking about, we're launching a brand new learning management system. It's called dealerslicense.com. So please keep this in mind. We don't have it launched yet. It's almost there, but by next month, we're going to have that launched. Just remember to go to dealerslicense.com. That's dealerslicense.com later on, and you'll be able to download that training. If you want to download the training course before that, you can go to our website, dealertraining.org, and do that right now. Now, also in your dealer training course, we are going to go extensively into what dealer surety bonds are and how to find the cheapest dealer surety bonds. Now, your state might make you get a $15,000 dealer bond or $25,000 is the norm. $50,000 tends to be a little more rare, but most states require a $25,000 dealer bond. Now, is this going to cost you $25,000? No, it's based on your credit score. So if you decide to get a dealer's license, you have to get a bond. And if you have to get a $25,000 bond with good credit, that's going to run you around maybe $150 to $250 a year. So we'll talk about dealer surety bonds in that course. I'm also going to show you how to get your required employment identification number for free. Now, I want you to be aware, every state in our country requires a dealer to get what's called an employer identification number. So with this business you're getting ready to start, with your dealer's license, I'm going to make a very bold prediction, especially the way things are going right now. I predict that your income will probably go up quite substantially. And with that income increase, with a motor vehicle dealer's license, Uncle Sam is going to want a little bit of that action. I just want you to be aware of that. This is not a tax-free business. When your income goes up, you do have to pay taxes, and dealers are in some pretty high tax brackets. So we're going to talk about how to easily get your free employment identification number. So we'll talk about that. Don't pay for your employment identification number. Our training course is going to show you how to do it for free. You can just log right onto the IRS website, click just a couple clicks of the mouse, and you'll have that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go in depth into dealer floor plans. Okay, now a dealer floor plan is a loan for your inventory. You need to definitely be aware of how to run a dealer floor plan. And I want to give you the heads up here. Dealer floor plans kill dealers every single day. So you want to make sure that you know how to get a floor plan correctly. I can almost guarantee you any licensed dealer in the United States could walk into any dealer auction, sign a couple of documents, and you can easily get a $250,000 dealer floor plan. But with that being said, a dealer floor plan is a credit card. There's no difference. And so that nothing against those dealer auctions, but they have absolutely nothing to lose by giving you a dealer floor plan, which is a loan for your inventory. It's like a credit card. So you can go into that dealer auction and, you can start buying cars left and right, take them back to your lot, resell them. When you sell them, you pay down on your floor plan. Well, unfortunately, especially in the last year, I've seen floor plans put a lot of dealers completely out of business because during the pandemic, floor plan providers try to give as much leeway as they could to dealers that weren't paying on their floor plans, but then they finally came and swept through and had to repossess a lot of those vehicles. And if you think about it from the dealer auctions perspective, if you're not paying on your floor plan, they've got nothing to lose by coming and repossessing all those vehicles, and then they sell through next week's dealer auction to the next dealer that was getting their first floor plan. So keep your debt low. We're going to talk about that in your dealer training course. So keep your debt low. My best advice is to start low. I started in this industry with a floor plan, but my floor plan was $25,000. So I got a floor plan from my local bank, and I did my very best to pay that down as much as I could every single time that I was selling a vehicle. And within about, I think it took me about 4 months, and I paid down that $25,000, and I never had a floor plan again. And from then on out, I always had a cash inventory. So I hope this was helpful for you in our dealer training course. Cash inventory is important, but I certainly recommend exploring floor plans. Remember, a floor plan is a loan for your inventory on your lot. We got a whole section in your dealer training course on that floor plan. So please do keep this in mind, okay? And that's, once again, that's dealertraining.org. And if you're just joining us, I'm Dallas Johnson with Dealer Training, and I'm kind of going over the mechanics of starting your dealership and how this is such an incredible time to start a dealership right now. So there's no vehicles anywhere. I know you've seen this. This is a perfect time to start your business, to get your dealer's license. Maybe you procrastinated for years and years like I did. I waited years to get my dealer's license. And when I got my dealer's license, I wished I had gotten my dealer's license like many, many years before that. I've made a great living with my dealer's license. And by the way, you know, I've had, just as a side note, I've had a real estate license, I've had an insurance license, and I've had a dealer's license. And I made a lot more money with my dealer's license than I did my insurance license and my real estate license combined. Because when you think about this, say, for example, you're a real estate agent. You know, if you go out and sell a $100,000 house, you got usually a 7% commission that has to be split 4 ways. So you're literally getting like, you know, 1.75% or so of that $100,000. That's like $1,700 you make selling a $100,000 house. Well, if you sell $100,000 worth of vehicles, you know, you're going to make, oh my gosh, thousands of dollars, you know. And I often get asked in my dealer training courses, you know, what's the markup on a vehicle? The markup's never the same in any area. But what I did, what was very successful for me after I had my dealership a few years, I would literally go and stand at the dealer auction lanes in the lease return, and I would buy the lease returns. These were the 2 and 3 year old vehicles that were coming through the dealer auction lanes. And I had a standard where I would normally mark them up I'd mark them up around $300 to $3,500. So let's just say, for example, I bought a car for $9,000 at the dealer auction. I would mark it up to like $12,995. And you need to have a lot of nines in your actual pricing, because 9 seems a lot cheaper. So you can ask $13,000 for a vehicle, or you can ask $12,995, and someone thinks they're getting a lot better deal. You know, obviously with $12,995 than when they're paying it $13,000. Or let's say you got a $12,000 vehicle, mark it up to $12,995, and you will have somebody that thinks they're getting a better deal than at $12,000. So always do that. But I would mark these vehicles up, usually $3,000 to $4,000. I would hang on to them as much as I could. I would always negotiate big time. And you know, if I bought a vehicle at $9,000 at the auction and sold it for $10,000 on the lot, I was a little disappointed with only a $1,000 markup. But with that being said, you know, you still always will take vehicles back to a dealer auction without any type of profit whatsoever and sell them for less than what you bought them. Not now. That's pretty rare. That is not the norm. Normally, you're going to buy a vehicle at a dealer auction. You're going to mark it up substantially and always be willing to reduce your price. And with that being said, you know, when you get into this industry, you're going to realize there's 2 main pricing factors for vehicles. You've heard of Blue Book. I know you've heard of Blue Book, but there's something you're going to find out when you get your dealer's license, and it's called Black Book. Now, Black Book is a wholesale motor vehicle auction pricing guide. Now, Black Book, you have to have a dealer's license in order to have access to Black Book. Any person can buy Blue Book, or I guarantee you, well, they're not really buying Blue Book anymore. They're going on kbb.com and they're printing up Blue Book, and your customers will come into your dealership and they'll be very prepared, and they'll take a look at this vehicle and they'll say, hey, listen, okay, it says right here, Blue Book on this thing is $12,500, and you're asking $13,500. Well, I'm not giving you $13,500. I'll only give you Blue Book $12,500. You know, I'm not going over Blue Book here. And then you look behind your desk at Black Book, which is the wholesale retail pricing guide, and you're going to realize, you know, Black Book on that was $9,000. And you bought that vehicle at a dealer auction for $9,000, absolutely, I will sell it for $12,500 Blue Book. So always remember, there's a huge difference between Blue Book and Black Book, okay? Blue Book is what your consumers will bring in, and Black Book is for us dealers. You can only get Black Book once you've gotten your dealer's license. So do please keep that in mind. I always want to give you the heads up. You're going to buy, when you get your dealer's license, you'll buy with Black Book and you sell with Blue Book. Don't ever buy with Blue Book. Don't ever buy with Blue Book. So once you get your dealer's license, you'll be able to have access to Black Book. And we have negotiation techniques in that training course. Once again, it's dealertraining.org, dealertraining.org. And you can download, it's we're the Automobile Dealer Training Association and our dealer training channel here on YouTube. And you can certainly download that. And it's got a lot of great information. It's also going to show you how to hire employees, if that's something that you're interested in, how to pay your taxes, profit strategies, negotiation strategies. As I said earlier, it's got a whole section on dealer auctions. you need to be prepared. Because, and the great thing about when you get your dealer's license in your state, you'll be able to buy vehicles not only in your state and attend the dealer auctions not only in your state, but you're going to be able to attend dealer auctions all over the United States with your dealer's license in your state. Plus, there's some dealer auctions up in Canada that you'll be able to attend, and you'll also be able to attend. There's a handful of them down in Mexico. So if you literally want to take your state's dealer's license and go to every single dealer auction in the United States, you'll certainly be able to do that. But if you're just joining us, this is an excellent time to start your dealership. There's a huge shortage of vehicles right now, and this is a great time to get the business launched, because here very soon, when these chips go into these new motor vehicles, we're going to see a trickle down effect in our industry to where you are literally going to see so many more vehicles in the dealer auctions, so many more vehicles that are being traded in. There are folks that are just waiting, to get to trade their vehicle in. Now I'll tell you right now, today's June 25th of 2021. Right now is the worst time to buy a vehicle for a consumer. Now, I think they know that. If they wait a little bit longer, they'll buy. And that's the perfect time for you to get started in this industry and get your dealer surety bond, get your insurance. You're going to have to meet some guidelines. And in our dealer training course, we cover how to start that business and get that dealer's license. I often get asked, how do I get a dealer's license without a lot? There are a few licenses out there that you can get without a lot, but normally they're going to be very limited on their profits. Like even if you do have a wholesale license, the profits, it's making a lot of money wholesaling is not the norm. The norm is the person that's willing to pay $400 or $500 rent for some garage with a little parking lot on it. And literally that is the key to your profits, is if you're willing to take a couple of steps to go out and get a retail license. Now, you might want to try and start with wholesale. And, wholesale can get you started in a business. The way it's been anymore, I rarely see a wholesale just continue wholesaling. And I travel the country training dealers. And in my classes, so many times I'll have a wholesaler comes in and says, well, I want to start making some real money, so I'm getting a retail license. I don't want to discourage you from getting a wholesale license, but what I'm really focusing on here with you is getting your retail license. And with a wholesale license, you can only sell to other dealers, okay? Or you might be looking at one of those programs where somebody rents you their license. The bad thing about that is sometimes you can't legally drive those vehicles off the auction lanes because you don't have a dealer plate and things like that. But just do your due diligence on those companies that are trying to rent you a license under theirs and things like that. So also, as we're expanding, and we're going to be doing a lot of live webinars, we're going to be on Clubhouse. We're on Clubhouse. We're going to start giving some Clubhouse things here. But just in your dealer training course, real quick here, if you just logged on, that dealer training, it's dealertraining.org. Once again, that's dealertraining.org. We're going to show you how to get your dealer's license. We're going to talk about aftermarket products, dealer auctions, several hours. In fact, here's a list of everything that's in that course right there. You'll see when you log on. We're going to talk extensively about how to get a dealer floor plan. That's a loan for your inventory. We'll talk about off-site shows, how some states may allow you to sell a vehicle off-site. We'll talk about consignments, and consignments are where you take another person's vehicle and sell it on your lot. There are some laws that you'll need to be aware of on that, on your consignments. So some states strictly prohibit them. So every single state's got a different licensing requirement. And as we're going through the next month or so, we are launching several specific state training courses. So I do want you to be aware of that. We're going to talk about pricing and proven negotiation techniques. And always remember, when you have the dealer's license and you have the vehicle, the negotiation, you control the negotiations. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got a vehicle on the lot and you're trying to, some person's trying to lowball you and buy it for half the price, we don't sign those persons off, by the way, because if they're showing interest in a vehicle, then we certainly want to explore selling that. And we'll go into negotiation techniques where, just to give you an idea, let's say you're asking $9,900 for a vehicle and someone comes in, with an attitude and says, oh, I'll give you $4,500. Well, you don't just kick them out the door. You say, oh, okay, well, hey, let's come on in here, take a look and see what we got in this, take them into your lot. And that's when you start the negotiation process. Never sign up. If someone's giving you even a low offer, they want your vehicle. So keep this in mind. We got proven negotiation strategies where you go in, get on your computer and see what you got in that thing. And maybe they came in at a low ball offer and you're asking $9,500 and come down and say, well, you know what, we can do $87,500 on that. And then they might say, oh, well, okay, I'll give you $7,000. And then you start reducing your increments of negotiation. So you might have dropped, $800 off the first time. Then the second time you drop $400, and then you drop about $100, and you let them know by the time the negotiations have stopped, maybe you're going to set firm at 8,000. Well, you know what? A person that lowballed you, they might consider giving you $8,000 for that $9,500 car. So we talk about negotiation strategies in here, and I hope this was helpful for you because you don't want to just, slam the door on somebody's face that gives you a lowball offer. But we talk about negotiation strategies, pricing techniques, the importance of nines. Once again, dealertraining.org. You can download this dealer training course. It's the Automobile Dealer Training Association's Profit and Compliance course. It has several hours of training concepts for you to get your dealer's license. We're going to talk about dealer insurance. Now, when you get your dealer's license, either before you get your dealer's license or immediately following, you're going to have to get what sometimes we call it garage insurance or dealer insurance. Your inventory has to be protected. And what I mean by this, you can't allow anybody to drive a demo of yours when it does not have insurance. So you definitely need to make sure that you have insurance. You can't just get a dealer policy at Progressive, and you're not going to be able to get a dealer policy at Geico.com or even your State Farm agent. You're going to have to get a specialized commercial policy that covers you when customers are test driving your vehicles, and also when you're transporting a vehicle back and forth from a lot. So we're going to talk about that extensively. We're going to talk about how to get a dealer insurance, how to search for it, the importance of multiple quotes, because there's a huge variety of policy pricing. You might have one insurance agent on one side of the street, and they might be asking $1,200 a year for a policy, where the insurance agent on the other side of her might be asking $12,000 a year for the same policy. So you definitely, a huge variety of policy pricing. So you want to make sure that you get multiple quotes. I'm also going to talk about how to easily register your new business with your Secretary of State. So most dealerships will be required to register with Secretary of State, and there are companies out there that will charge you thousands of dollars to do this. But we're going to show you basically how to look up your Secretary of State, and they're all very business friendly anymore, and you can always do your Secretary of State paperwork right there. Now, if you're running as a sole proprietor or an individual, you won't need to do that, but there are some legal ramifications if you are a sole proprietor. And what I'm trying to say here, I never ever recommend, I'm not an attorney, but I never ever recommend starting this business as a sole proprietor, because you have some legalities there. I don't know the word. You can get sued a little easier. And if you're running an LLC or corporation, that does protect some of your business assets. So we will definitely talk about that, how to do that. I'm also going to show you how to identify vehicles with damage history. It's so crucially important that you know how to identify vehicles with damage history. And Kelvin, you just asked me a question there. Have the rules in Alabama changed regarding wholesale or retail license? I don't have the answer for that. You would need to contact the Alabama Department of Revenue. So that's one state. I'm not sure about that question. So if you, Kelvin, I appreciate that question. But if you just check with the Alabama Department of Revenue, and they'll be able to tell you whether or not the wholesale and retail licensing has changed. So with that being said, we're going to talk about how to identify vehicles with damage history in your dealer training course. I know many of you are getting your dealer's license with the sole intent to basically get into dealer auctions. And like I said earlier, your dealer's license in your state will allow you not only to get into the dealer auctions in your state, but you're going to be able to get into every single dealer auction in the United States. With that being said, thousands of vehicles come through the dealer auction lanes with damage every single day. And you definitely need to be able to identify vehicles with damage history, because you never want to give a full wholesale bid at a dealer auction when you have a vehicle that has damage history. So you want to make sure and bid accordingly. Now, normally, and we're going to talk about titles in your dealer training course as well. Now, normally, what you're going to do here is you're going to find out there's usually about 2 levels of salvage title in your state. Most states have what's called a salvage or a rebuilt salvage, or salvage or prior salvage. Now, a salvage vehicle is a vehicle that's been in a wreck, okay, and it's in damage history. It's sitting at that Copart auction or something like that. And, you can't drive those vehicles, but savvy entrepreneurs like you can go in there and buy those vehicles when you have your dealer's license and turn around and resell them for a profit. Now, once you've bought one of those damaged vehicles and fixed it up, normally you're going to be able to take that to your highway patrol, and your highway patrol trooper or motor vehicle inspector will come out with a form, and they'll make sure that vehicle is safe and roadworthy. And then once that has happened, you'll be able to sell that vehicle. And it might be called a rebuilt salvage or a prior salvage or previous salvage. Now, these vehicles are safe and roadworthy and can be driven all over the United States, okay? But they are of less value. So you've got to be aware of these before you bid on one at your dealer auction. Now, your dealer auction, whether, if you haven't been in a dealer auction yet with your dealer, when you get your dealer's license, obviously you'll be able to go in, but they're a big, exciting place with a lot of energy going on, a lot of things going on. It's a place where you can make a lot of money with the vehicles that you buy. And it's also a place that you can lose a lot of money with the vehicles you buy, which is exactly what happened to me when I first got my dealer's license many years ago and got in my first dealer auction. I was jumping up and down like a kid in a candy store, buying vehicles, thinking, didn't know anything about wholesale pricing. I was buying vehicles just to get vehicles on my lot. That's all. I just wanted to have a bunch of vehicles on my lot. Well, I didn't know anything about damage history or anything. But when you get into your first dealer auction, you're going to see multiple lanes. There's going to be an elevated counter next to every single lane that you go into. And normally there'll be 2 or 3 auctioneers right there and at an elevated counter. And one of them's looking at a computer screen, and the vehicles come rolling through the lanes. And sometimes they don't even stop. And there's 2 scenarios here. You're either going to be physically at that auction and you're raising your hand there, making your bids, or more so often than ever now, you might be sitting at your computer at your dealership, hitting the enter button and doing your online bidding. So with that being said, when you're at a dealer auction now, when you think you're getting ready to get the bid, you look on a screen, you might have your dealership in Dallas, Texas, and all of a sudden somebody from Minneapolis, Minnesota bought that vehicle from underneath you. They're shipping in some 4-wheel drive from Dallas up to Minneapolis. But the auctioneer is always going to warn you. Okay, they're going to give you plenty of notice. And what they're going to say, though, they're not going to come out and say, "Hey, everyone, this car has a prior salvage, so you want to bid accordingly because it has damage history." Well, obviously, they're not going to say anything like that. They're going to come out on their microphone. They're going to say, "Hey, everyone, we got frame on this one." I'll say, "Hey, looks like we got unibody here. We got unibody here." Or they might come up and say, "Hey, we got structure. We got structure." The dealer auctioneer is letting you know that you are getting ready to bid on a vehicle at that dealer auction that has damage history, so you want to bid accordingly. You never want to give full wholesale pricing on a vehicle that has damage history because it's not worth full wholesale. So you got to really listen up to the dealer auctioneer. They could just come out and say really quickly, they could say, "Hey, everyone, we got a 2010 Toyota Camry with frame. What's the opening bid?" There, I heard with frame in there. So they will give you that disclosure. Make sure, if you're bidding online, make sure it'll show on your computer screen if that vehicle has damage history. If you're at your dealer auction, be very careful. If you're physically there, it's a big high energy place, with a lot of energy going on, and just pay attention to that screen behind the dealer auction. So our dealer training course goes extensively into dealer auction preparation for you. You need to prepare before you go into your dealer auctions because you can really get burned in a dealer auction if you're not buying correctly. So our dealer course also has a huge section on dealer auctions. And once again, right now, you can download that course at dealertraining.org. Once again, that's our official website, dealertraining.org. We are in exciting expansion phase here, and we are going to be launching a lot of new training content for you. And also, we're going to be launching a new training management system. It's called dealerslicense.com. Dealerslicense.com. Please keep that in mind. We'll have that launched in about 30 days. With a multitude of options for you to train. Also, we're going to talk about how to identify vehicles with odometer fraud. Definitely something you need to be aware of because most of the vehicles that you're buying to resell will have odometers. Odometer fraud has exploded in the last couple of years ago, and it's become much more easy and high-tech in nature to alter an odometer. You definitely need to be aware of this when you're buying vehicles to resell on your lot, okay? Now, with that being said, I do want you to be aware. And those vehicle diagnostic switches that you hook into like right behind the steering wheel on a vehicle and things like that. With that being said, it's so easy now to hook a vehicle diagnostic switch right up to the back of a vehicle, right behind the steering wheel. And you can feed programs through there that will change the digital readout of the dash odometer. Very easy to do. Very easy to do. But what these odometer fraudsters are not aware of is when they're changing that digital readout on that dash, they are not changing the computer readout on the vehicle. So this is a very, very traceable crime. And with that being said, I read a case here recently where there was a dealer in Southwest Missouri that used one of those programs and changed the digital readout on 9 odometers. Well, it's a felony. It's a federal offense. So he was charged with 9 felonies, and he went to prison over that deal. So you want to protect yourself, and we're going to talk about how to protect yourself. And one of the things that I'm strongly going to encourage you, and we're going to go extensively on this on your dealer training course, is the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. And the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System is this huge government database that has millions of title histories in it. And so I'm going to show you here on the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System that I strongly encourage you to run one of these reports every single time that you're buying a vehicle to resell from a customer, from an individual, and every single time that you're taking a trade-in. This is going to ensure that you're not buying vehicles that have had the odometers tampered with. It's going to ensure that you haven't bought a vehicle that's been stolen. And, the easiest part to me, the easiest part of this industry is where you actually have that vehicle cleaned up and frontline ready. That vehicle is ready to go. That vehicle is ready to go. The hardest part of this industry is going out and constantly searching for vehicles to purchase and bring back to your lot. Now, maybe you're going to get your dealer's license and buy all your vehicles at your dealer auction, and that's great. That's great. You can certainly do that. There's not a lot of vehicles there right now, but they're getting ready to come back here very soon. But I got to the point where I was buying over half of my inventory from individuals. At the time, I was buying them off Craigslist, and I would go on Craigslist, hit the refresh button, and I would be the first person that logs on. That literally, I hit the refresh button. I'd be the first person that shows up at their door with some cash, and I found that cash could really talk. So I bought nearly half my vehicles on Craigslist. So, another resource for you, if your state, once you get your dealer's license, there's a great software program called Backlot Cars. Backlotcars.com allows you to actually bid on franchise trade-ins, before they actually take them to the dealer auction. So do please keep that in mind. And hey, with that being said, we're going to cover this in your dealer training course. And remember, it's dealertraining.org, and you'll be able to get this training course downloaded. As you see here, here's just a kind of a list of, we have going to show you how to get your dealer's license, aftermarket products. It has a whole section on dealer auctions. And you can see right here, dealer floor plans. It talks about dealer insurance, odometers, offsite shows, consignments, tent sales. You're going to be able to show how you can donate your vehicles for a huge tax write-off. And literally, at the end of the year, you can donate vehicles and get your tax liability down substantially. So you might think you'll never want to donate a vehicle, but there are times you might have that car that's been sitting on your lot for 2 months not selling, where you can actually have better tax advantages by donating that vehicle instead of selling it. Believe it or not, this is true. So we'll talk about how to donate your vehicles. We're also going to show you how to complete titles. So dealers complete titles differently than any other individual. So normally, most states allow what's called a reassignment of ownership. And a reassignment normally in most states, you'll be able to buy a vehicle, take that title, and just reassign the ownership and flip it for a profit right on the very back of the title. So you'll be able to reassign ownership just by taking your pin on the back of a title. There are some states that require you apply for a resale title, but if you're just going to be flipping a vehicle, in most states, you can do a reassignment. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to show you how to hire employees, and it's very hard to do right now. Very hard to hire employees. So we've got some hiring strategies for you in your dealer training course. Once again, it's dealertraining.org. Once again, our entire dealer training course is available at dealertraining.org. And you can click on the sign up button there, and you can start that video training course immediately. We've been on this channel, on the dealer training channel, for several years. Maybe you've watched some of our videos. We have a lot of content that's not on YouTube. That's on our dealer training channel, and it's dealertraining.org. So please keep that in mind, dealertraining.org. I also want you to be aware, we are launching all this training onto a newer learning management system next month. And that's going to be tied into our official website, which is dealerslicense.com. So once again, my name is Dallas Johnson. I sure appreciate you joining me here today. I'll go for a couple more minutes here. But our training course shows you how to get your dealer's license. It's going to show you how to learn profit strategies, how to price your vehicles, how to protect yourself from odometer fraud, where to mark up vehicles. We'll talk about the proper markup on a vehicle. We're going to talk about how to deal with an irate customer, and we want to make sure that they're never ever going to report us to our state. So once again, my name is Dallas Johnson. I sure appreciate you being with me here today. And please do consider our dealer training course. It's at dealertraining.org. We're going to go through the entire startup process. We'll show you exactly how to get your dealer license hanging on your wall. This is a great time to start. Profits are going to be exploding here in the next couple of months because we have these thousands of brand new vehicles that are sitting on these airport runways, and they're waiting for their computer chips. And the thing about it, once they get those chips, we're going to see so many brand new vehicles, and there's going to be a trickle down effect. So we're going to see all these franchisees that are advertising extreme heavy advertising is coming your way. Think about it right now. You're not seeing a lot of advertising by the franchisers right now, because why would they advertise when they have no inventory on their lot? So we've seen the first time ever a dramatic decrease in franchise advertising right now. But here I predict in another month or two, when they start getting, they're going to be loaded. They're going to have full lots, and the trickle down effect is going to happen because, number one, you being a used motor vehicle dealer, you're actually going to be able to reap the rewards. So if your local Chevy dealership and Ford dealership are running nonstop advertising on your local television, radio, and newspapers, you will see an increase in foot traffic, because that spurs the entire automotive buying sector. Okay, so we'll reap the benefits from that. You're going to have the rental car agencies that are right now are not taking their vehicles back to the dealer auctions because they can't get brand new vehicles. So they're going to replenish rental car inventories with brand new vehicles, and all those vehicles, those rental car returns, are going to be coming through the lanes here in a couple of months. We're going to see a huge increase of vehicles in the dealer auctions, which is going to see, I predict, a dramatic reduction of dealer auction pricing here pretty soon as well. Now, another thing you're going to see here is the lease returns. There are a lot of folks right now that have extended their leases. If they've got a 2 or 3 year lease, instead of letting the vehicle go back, they're doing 6-month extensions because you can't find any new vehicles right now. So once these lease returns start coming back as well, because maybe those persons are either releasing a newer vehicle or maybe they're buying a new vehicle, the lease returns are coming through the lanes as well. We have customers that are just waiting. They're flush with cash between all the stimulus checks they've received in the last year from the federal government, their tax returns that they've received. But even more so, another part of our market right now is going to be the child tax credit goes into effect in 4 or 5 days. So every person in this country that has, almost every person in the country that has a child will get $300 a month from that child. So if a family's got 3 or 4 kids, they're coming up with an extra $1,200 a month, and research is showing they are buying vehicles right now. So we've also got lending companies that are actually giving loans that they weren't giving a loan a year ago because they have some federal backed financing. If you've ever procrastinated about getting your dealer's license, this is the absolute greatest time, in my opinion, to get a dealer's license. Right now, while the inventory is a little tight, this is a great time for you to take the steps that are necessary to get your dealer's license. As I said, I procrastinated for years and years before I finally got my license. And, once I got my license, it's the best thing I ever did. I've had a real estate license. I've had an insurance license. And as I say, I've made a lot more money with my dealer's license than I ever did in insurance or real estate. And my name is Dallas Johnson. This course has been developed from my 16 years of training dealers all over the United States. Now, we are actually an official licensed provider training. We train all over the United States, but we also have this profit and strategy course that's available for everyone if you're no matter in your state. And also we are developing several state specific programs. I hope those are going to be helpful for you. But please consider taking our profit and training course. It's going to show you how to get your license. It talks about aftermarket products where, the markup of the vehicle, sometimes that's just the beginning of your profit. You can actually offer aftermarket products, warranties, delivery fees. Sometimes some states even still allow rust protection. Some states don't. So you have to make sure and check whether your state allows that. But there's a lot of aftermarket products, especially warranties. Aftermarket warranties can be very profitable. And there are tons of companies out there. They're just waiting for you to get your dealer's license so you can sell like a $500 warranty and you keep $300 of the profit, or even more than that sometimes. Okay, so also we're going to talk about financing, and we've got a whole section on financing in your dealer training course that you hopefully will be taking. And there are lending companies out there. They're just waiting for you to get your dealer's license so they can give loans to all your customers. So, one thing you can do is go to Google or whatever, type in third-party lenders or dealer financing. And what's going to happen here, you got these companies, they're waiting for you to get your dealer's license and create an account, and you'll be able to get loans for all your customers regardless of their credit score. Good credit, bad credit, horrendous credit, bankruptcies, foreclosures. We're going to be able to get those customers prime lending, and that means they pay higher interest rates, but at the same time, they are actually going to be helping them rebuild their credit. So normally when you hook up with one of these third-party lenders, and let's say you got a customer on the lot that says, I love this car, I'm buying this car today, and well, when they've left the lot, you've lost that sale. So one thing we're going to concentrate in your dealer training course is ABC, always be closing. If you can keep those customers on your lot, you are going to definitely sell a lot more vehicles. And one of the ways to keep those customers on your lot is to have financing on the spot. So normally when you got a customer on the lot, you can normally take them into your finance account, and you're going to be able to get their name, address, birthday, social security number. And what happens here, you click submit, and usually about 30 seconds from them, you're going to have a multitude of lending options for that customer, regardless of their credit score. And if they decide they like the terms, they can click submit. They're going to get that loan from that third-party lender, and that third-party lender normally within 12 to 24 hours is going to wire transfer that entire purchase price right into your checking or your savings account. Okay, so with that being said, they're going to be able to easily get that loan from you. They're going to make payments to that third-party lender. And if for some reason that customer stops making their payments, unfortunately, really it's not going to be your problem. The third-party lender is going to hire a recovery company to go do that repossession. Okay, so keep that in mind. And that way, we're not out chasing, all over your area doing repossessions. We could just stay on the lot and sell that vehicle to the next customer. Okay, so we talk extensively in your dealer training course about how to hook up with those third-party lenders. And once again, that dealer training is available at our main website. It's dealertraining.org. Dealertraining.org. We are the Automobile Dealer Training Association, and our YouTube channel is Dealer Training. I have personally trained about 17,000 entrepreneurs just like you on the startup process, not only how to get your dealer's license, but profit strategies, compliance. This can be I predict this will be a very lucrative license for you. You cannot make that money if you lose your dealer's license. So if your state ever suspends or revokes your dealer's license, that puts you on the radar for your state. So I'm also going to concentrate in your dealer training course about how to maintain compliance. Compliance is the most effective and important component in the operation of this new business. If you maintain 100% compliance, which means you take the additional steps and follow all the rules and guidelines that you're going to learn about when you get your dealer's license and run the dealer's lot with compliance, you're going to have a lot higher profits, because if you maintain 100% compliance, you're never going to have any type of fines from your state or the federal government. So you never have to pay profits out of your fines as long as you maintain 100% compliance. So a big part of our training course will show you how to maintain your compliance. And as a side note, like I said, we are going to be launching a brand new system here pretty soon. Right now, everything's on dealertraining.org. We've acquired the name dealerslicense.com. Dealerslicense.com. Please keep that in mind, because we're going to have a multitude of the same training plus some more things there. But you can definitely start the training right now at dealertraining.org. Once again, I appreciate you joining me for this course. The market is getting ready to explode. So as soon as these vehicles get their chips, in the brand new vehicles, we're going to see that trickle down effect. We're going to see the advertising for the franchisers is going to benefit a small used dealership. We're going to see a multitude of lease returns, rental returns, and trade-ins that are coming through the dealer auction lanes. This is in my opinion, this is one of the greatest times to actually go out, complete the steps to get your dealer's license and get you into these dealer auctions as soon as possible, and get you opening your business as soon as possible, and get you making money as soon as possible. So our profit and compliance course, it's only available at our website, dealertraining.org. You just click the blue sign up button there, and you'll see here's just kind of a list. As you can see here, I'm kind of going down this list right here. There are several video training components right here. I bet I should use a different finger here. There are several different training components here for you, several hours of video training that's not available on YouTube. So I certainly hope you'll consider this. And hey, with that being said, I'm Dallas Johnson with Dealer Training, and we are the Automobile Dealer Training Association. We are a nationwide association. We have members. Our membership is actually free for all licensed motor vehicle dealers. Okay, so our website, dealertraining.org, has all your startup information. It's going to show you how to get your dealer's license. It's going to show you profit strategies, how to price your vehicles, negotiation techniques, what to do with that customer that you just can't stand. We can close deals with them. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in your profit and training and compliance course. We're going to talk about hiring tips. We're going to show you how to register your business with your local state Secretary of State's office. We're going to show you how to get a free employment identification number. Don't pay money to get your employment identification number. There are companies out there that'll charge you, $400 or $500 for this. There's companies that'll charge you $1,000 or more to register your business with your Secretary of State. Well, we cover dealer auctions, registering with Secretary of State. We're going to cover that completely. We're going to go through and show you, talk about Blue Book, Black Book, negotiation strategies, how to price vehicles, how to buy right at the dealer auctions, how to identify vehicles with damage history at the dealer auctions. We're going to talk about that FTC buyer's guide form that's got to go up on every single one of your vehicles that you hold for sale, or you'll face massive fines for that. So do please keep that in mind. I'm going to show you how to donate vehicles for huge tax write-offs, and I do predict that you could bump yourself up into another tax bracket here when you get into this business. So do please keep that in mind. If you have the training, yes, if you have the training, Kelvin, it does trickle over to the new site as well. The new site is going to have, we're going to always have two learning management systems. We got the dealertraining.org, and then we're launching the new one with dealerslicense.com. And all the training will be available on both. It's identical, same price. And whenever we launch a new video training unit on dealertraining.org, we'll be launching that new one on Dealer's License as well. So yes, Kelvin, to answer that question, is the training going to trickle over to the new site? Yes. Dealertraining.org is where we're at today. We are going to launch dealerslicense.com here pretty soon. So, hey, with that being said, I certainly appreciate your time and attention here today. And I certainly do hope that you'll consider downloading our training. We've got several hours of training for you that's available exclusively on our website, dealertraining.org. And later on, we'll be transitioning to dealerslicense.com. Hopefully, we'll start doing several more of these live training video events for you. And remember, dealertraining.org. I apologize. I don't have everything in focus correctly here. This is our first live training. So hopefully that's helpful for you. But in your dealer training course, we'll cover the whole startup process. I'll show you how to get your employment identification number. We'll talk about how to enter dealer auctions, how to comply with state and federal laws. We'll talk about how to get a floor plan, which is a loan for your inventory. We'll explain the difference between a dealer surety bond and your dealer insurance. There's a big difference there that you'll need to be aware of. We'll show you how to complete titles. We're going to show you how to identify odometer tampering and odometer fraud and things like that. So I hope you find it very advantageous. Once again, my name is Dallas Johnson. Please go to our website, dealertraining.org, and you will be able to download several hours of video training. That's our profit and compliance course. So hopefully you'll consider that. So thank you very much. And please go to our website, dealertraining.org. If you're like me, you want to change your life, you can certainly do this. I've helped persons from the worst economic background, build up a business and put themselves into a new tax bracket. I also have seen and helped financially secure persons take their income to a new level. The markup on vehicles is just absolutely phenomenal. As I said, my strategy was always to, I would buy a vehicle at a dealer auction. I'd always mark it up $3,000 to maybe $4,000 and always be willing to negotiate it way down. If I hadn't made $1,000 on a vehicle, I was pretty upset. But with that being said, there still is the rare scenario where you're going to take a vehicle back to the dealer auction for less than what you paid. But that is extremely not the norm. Okay, so please consider this. Hey, don't procrastinate anymore. I mean, you have a chance here, I believe, to take your income to a whole new level. If you're willing to take the steps and get a legal dealer's license, it can be very, very profitable. And if you're like me, you're a gearhead. I love cars. I love motorcycles. I love boats. I love everything that moves. This industry, it is not really about motor vehicles. It's about people. And even though you're selling motor vehicles, you're going to be really developing some incredible relationships with people in your area, and you will have entire families that will purchase vehicles from you over and over again. So please go to our website, dealertraining.org. Once again, that is dealertraining.org, and click the sign up button there, and you'll be able to take our exclusive dealer profit and compliance course that is not available anywhere else. So I want to wish you the very best of luck with your new business. Thank you very much, and good luck with your new business.